now we built our little layer cake of rhythm with the boogie shuffle on the bottom, the upbeats in the middle, and the horn section riffs up on top. So those are three basic templates that we're going to be using and varying, but that's kind of the essence of how we arrange things, either bottom, middle, or top with different flavors added accordingly. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the 12 bar. We know how the 12 bar works. We've got the turnaround, we've got the ending. There are some very common variations in the 12 bar progression. And what we've been playing so far is what you would call the stripped down version. It's the minimum number of changes. However, it's quite common to insert some extra changes in there just to create a different harmonic flow. Especially at slower tempos, you add more chords just to kind of keep the energy moving forward and so on. But it's true also in the middle, like medium shuffle range where we are now. Let's go to the key of G. What the heck? All right. Now, the first variation that I'm going to talk about is called the quick change. The quick change is kind of what it says. It's pretty intuitive. You make a chord change quickly. Now, the way that works specifically is that we're in the key of G now. My 1 chord is G, my 4 chord is C, and my 5 chord is D. So the quick change works like this. In bar 2, instead of staying on the 1 chord, I change to the 4 chord. Then in bar 3, I return to the 1 chord. So remember, we're breaking our 12 bar rhythms into 3 4-bar sections, the 2-bar call and the 2-bar answer, and then repeat and then finish it up, right? So in this case, we're going to change the call. We're going to add that quick change in the second half of the call, then return to the normal, usual answer in bars 3 and 4. Let's do that first. I'll demonstrate it for you, and then I'll talk about the other variation. It's very simple stuff. Okay, so quick change in G sounds like this. I'll just play it by myself. 1, 2, 3. Change. And back again. From here on, it's the same old thing that we've always been playing. There's the 4 chord. Back to the 1. Now, check this out. 5, 4, 1. Okay, so I did the quick change. I warned you about that one, changing to the 4 chord in bar 2. Now, incidentally, the progression we've been playing, which does not go to the 4 chord, is often called the slow change, but often they don't say anything, you know. And that's true of a lot of blues arranging, is nobody says anything. You just got to keep your ears open and listen and see where the bass player is going. That's the key, is follow the bass player. So we know what the quick change is. Now, I made another change in the progression. Did you pick up on it? I went to the 5 chord. Now, we've been staying on that 5 chord for 2 bars. It's a common thing. But instead, I went 5 for a bar, 4 for a bar, and then back to 1. And then the turnaround. Okay. Now that change, 5, 4, in bars, what is that, bars 9 and 10, if I'm not missing my calculation, is an extremely common variation. In fact, you could say it's probably more common than staying on the 5 for 2 bars. But it's 601, right? And you have to be ready for either one. Song by song, there's no rule about when you do it or when you don't do it. It's just the way that the players or the writer hears it. So easy to pick up. There's only 3 chords. How many choices do you have, right? So it's just keeping your ears open. Now, by making these changes, going from the 1 chord to the 4 chord, for example, in the 1st and 2nd bars, or going from the 5 chord to the 4 chord in bars 9 and 10, what I've done is take my nice, neat 2 bars per chord model, and I've interrupted it. I've put a change in the middle of it. Now, when you're playing the boogie shuffle, it's easy. You just shift your finger over there, no sweat, right? If you're playing the upbeats, it's also pretty easy. So I've got my 1 chord, 4 chord, back to my 1 chord. I can do that no matter what the arrangement is. It's an easy switch. Where it's tricky is the horn section, because the horn section riff that we're using, the standard riff, is a 2-bar phrase. So what happens when you interrupt a 2-bar phrase in the middle and change chords? Well, the answer is actually quite simple. You play the same phrase, you don't change a thing, the rhythm stays the same, but the chord changes. Let me demonstrate, right? So we're in the key of G, and let's say my horn riff is this, 3, 4, 1. Now, I go 1, da, ba, da, ba, ba, da. The second half of the riff is in the second bar. So when I have a quick change, then in that second half of the riff, I'll change to the 4 chord, right? So I switch chords in the middle of the phrase, like this, 3, 4, 1. Back to the 1 again. Now I'm on my 4 chord like usual. Back to the 1. Now 5, 4. Back to 1. Turn around. And so on. Pretty simple stuff, really. So we're not going to change the world here. We're just throwing in some common variations. Let's play it with the rhythm section. The easiest ones to play are simply the boogie shuffle and the upbeats, because it doesn't really change the pattern. So let's concentrate for the moment on the horns section and see, can you nail that horn section variation over the quick change and the 5-4 change? Okay, here we go. Here we go. Change. Back to 1. And the 4. Back to our 1. 5, 4. And back to 1. Turn around. Quick change. Back to 4. 1. 5, 4. And now we're going to end it. Oh yeah. Now when I'm talking and playing, sometimes it's hard for me to keep my numbers straight there, but I think you get the idea. So you can practice along with that rhythm track. It's very common when somebody says quick change that it doesn't quite sink in, and I've done it myself, and I've heard lots of players who forget. And what reminds you is you hear the bass player go to the 4 chord, you go, oh, right, yeah. So you have to keep your concentration up when you start, because that change happens very quickly. It's not much time to think about it, but it's so common, and it's just we'll hear it on all the slow blues songs and so forth. So just log that one away. Quick change, 5-4, we're good to go.